Luis Iago. Before I share the stories and reflections, it is important to first define the concept of ili. Sige. So ili is more than just a village or physical space. To look at ili, it refers to the social community that resides there. It also includes the spiritual dimension, an unseen parallel space where spirits dwell, the adikaila, where ancestors are remembered and where pinachings or nature guardian spirits continue to protect and guide. The ili is therefore not just a geographical marker, but a living web of relations among people, spirits, and the land. So for me as an Ipidlisan, our ili encompasses 4 barangays of Agid, Pidilisan, the mother village, and Bangaan. So the picture I'm showing here is my ili. It is within this space of belonging and responsibility that our healing practices, belief, and rituals are deeply rooted. With this positionality, I start my sharing today. So before I start my sharing, let me just acknowledge, thank my grandmother Likwan, who first connected me to my roots and patiently brought me back to the ili since I was a child. I am also deeply grateful to the elders and culture bearers, men and women of Pidlisan and Sagada who willingly shared their insights and stories beginning as early as 2003 when I was doing my undergraduate thesis. I remember one elders telling me, "We sent you youngsters to go to school and now you are coming back to learn about the old ways." And he was seriously looking at me. That statement continues to guide me in my work, reminding me that scholarship is not only about looking outward, but also about coming home. So there is a need to rethink healing. In this 2-day conference on Indigenous healing, we are invited to bridge the gap between modern medicine and Indigenous frameworks of care. Why do we need to reconsider theories of healing? Because there are illnesses, whether physical or psychological, that cannot be fully healed by biomedical or Western psychosocial methods. So what I am proposing here is a place-based attachment healing, which integrates spiritual, social, and land connections, offering another pathway. It recognizes that healing is not just an individual matter, but something deeply rooted, relational, rooted in the ties between the person, the community, the ancestors, and the land. So before I go, let me just briefly introduce you to elements of healing. This was discussed by some of the elders a while ago, morning discussion. One of the things that was brought about was about the adikaila or the unseen. So what you can see here, okay, sige. So healing involves the adikaila or the unseen. It is guided by relationality, facilitated by dialogues within the community, dialogues between us, the umili, and the unseen, okay, through rituals like the dawas, through prayers like the sapu. Sapu, the bunong in Benguet is called sapu for us in Bilisan. So these rituals and prayers function as the dialogue, and these are acts also to restore connection. Okay. And before I go to the 4 stories that I will be sharing you, part also of this is that, okay, sorry. I'll be sharing you 4 stories. 3 of the stories are from Pidlisan, and 1 story is shared by Amatigano, the former IPMR of Sagada. So these narratives resonate with the beliefs and practices of other indigenous peoples of the Cordillera. For example, among the Isnegs of Apayao, when I did my fieldwork there, they shared to me their tradition called the Talibaggo, where the homecoming of a warrior, soldier, or police is more celebrated than the sending off. This highlights a common point in Cordillera belief. The returning home, coming back to the ili, is essential to healing and balance. So let me share the first story. This is where when one meets, mag-ano muna ko. When a person meets something traumatic like fire, landslide, accident, the person's ab-abiik will be detached. The ab-abiik is part of the soul. It will be detached from the body. And it will cause sudden illness or abnormality, psychological, behavioral abnormality. So for us studying psychology, we call it trauma, post-traumatic stress disorder. Okay. So this is, in this case, the elders will do the ritual and say the prayers to restore back that part of the ababiik that was detached from the body. Okay. In case 2, ito yung shinare ni Amatigano. This was the Mama Sapano, in which we know that some of the staff were brutally murdered in Mama Sapano. And then after a year, hindi pa rin makatahimik yung souls of the departed. And the elders, may elder yata Baguio, Benguet, who went there to Mama Sapano to do the ritual, as shared a while ago, that and as shared by the elders of our community, when you die outside the home or outside the ili, you have to call back that spirit to go back home. That's why yung importance ng sharing of healing is yung coming back home, even in death. Okay? Sige. So this was done in 2016. At na-in-use pa po yung case na ito. Sige. The third story that I will be sharing is about the takba. Briefly lang kasi i-share ng aking co-researchers sa isang research ito. This is, the takba is the sacred basket believing to house the spirit of an ancestor killed during the boso or headhunting days. So, a family of a clan is tasked to care for the takba during rituals, especially in agricultural harvest. In one instance, the takba was taken away from the ili and neglected. This neglect caused psychological illness to a member of the clan who was working abroad. The only way to heal was for the clan to unite, bring the takba home, and perform the necessary rituals in connection to the dapay. This story highlights that disconnection from ancestral obligations and neglect of sacred objects can manifest as illness, and that healing requires both familial unity and ritual connection. And the fourth story I will be sharing is polluting the land and disturbing yung pinaching or the nature guardian spirits. In this case, when the land is polluted, such as the misuse of agrochemicals, the spirits who guard nature are disturbed, and the community may suffer sickness, poor or unhealthy harvest or imbalance. In this case, the guardian spirits or the pinaching complain on the smell of agrochemicals used near the sacred space, naangot kanu. It caused sickness which necessitated ritual and prayers. From this case, we imply that when we take care of the land takes care of us. Illness here is not only human-centered but ecological. Healing requires restoring balance between people and the land, recognizing the damage to the environment and the damage to ourselves. So with these 4 stories, it leads us towards a place-based theory of healing. So these cases cause us to rethink theories of healing. Western biomedical, psychological models are individual body or mind. Yet in Pidlisan and Cordillera thought, healing is inseparable from the ili, the land, the community, the spirits, and the ancestors. So I propose that we need to reconsider a theory of healing that draws from place-based attachment. Okay? And healing is not only psychological recovery, but reconnection to self, kin, land, and spirit. So as a closing, healing is not about curing illness, but remembering where we belong, our ili, our ancestors, and our land. So taking care of the land ensures that the land take care of us. And I close with this picture. This is a picture of me and my friends going back home, sharing.